And in other development, at least 4 occupants of a partially collapsed building on Adeniji Adele Road in Isale Eko area of Lagos Island are currently receiving treatment at a nearby hospital after it partially collapsed on Thursday. Officials of the Lagos State Emergency Agency, LASEMA, who chose to speak off camera, say no casualty has been recorded so far. News Central's Victor Mbadike was at the site, and he's here with me to share what his experience was. So, as always, Victor, good to have you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you so much, Judith.
So just give us a bit of an exact brief of how this building collapsed. Let's start with that. And how the occupants that are being hospitalized, did you get any update from them?
Well, let's begin with the fact that you and I know that Lagos Island can be chaotic, particularly the geography, the way that a particular area is built. In fact, getting into that location was even quite hectic as well. And so one of the things I noticed was the fact that, which is of course not unusual, is most buildings, most structures on Lagos Island are built in very close clusters, which means that you hardly have breathing space. And now, so a particular building had a crack, right? Now, the occupants of that building had been told to leave for some time. The developers had told them to evacuate that building. But now they refused to leave because the landlord had collected rent from them. So if you're telling me to leave, why are you demanding rent from me? So normally they paid and they felt that there was no point leaving, even at the expense of their own, health, at the expense of their own lives. And then something happened all of a sudden, and then the landlords felt that if you're not going to leave, we're going to force you out of that place. So they began to remove certain structures, iron gates and all of that, which was the immediate cause of that partial collapse. So on Thursday morning, just right this morning, so sometime around 6:06 a.m., the building had begun to have partially collapsed, right? Now, the occupants of that building, some of them were seriously injured and rushed to the hospital, and while others were very lucky to escape unhurt. So we did speak to a few of them who began to question the legality of landlords in that place collecting rent from them when they know that their own structures, their own houses are not structurally fit. Now, the question is, how was the caterpillar or whatever the LASEMA guys used to bring down that structure, how were they able to gain access into that place? It means that the buildings before the main building that was affected really had to be brought down for them to gain access, which means that even if those buildings were actually okay, they had to pay the price for the building that was not okay. So that's two situations. And
this is what happens when you have clusters, when
two situations. So we have the occupants of that main building, lamenting and crying for help. Well, those whose buildings were brought down because they had to help them also, crying for help. So it's really chaotic. And but the good thing is that we do not have any case of casualty, at least so far. But what we have are a couple of persons who are still in the hospital, being treated at the moment.
And so what's tomorrow going to look like?
Oh, well, from what LASEMA officials told us, evacuation will continue even up on, in terms of the debris now, up until tomorrow. And hopefully, the buildings, the adjoining buildings have been marked for evacuation. So whoever lives in that surrounding, those buildings will have to evacuate as soon as possible. Otherwise, they would, similar fate would meet them. That's just the price to pay for such disobedience.
Price to pay for such a... Victor, we want to say thank you. Victor Mbadike, our correspondent, who was live at the scene of the building collapse in Adeniji Adele.